Portney Wang, moderately priced invertebrates, and welcome to the Maggot Has Nothing Better to Do show. Tonight we're presiding over the Hamster Olympics, though I'm not really sure why. I suspect that it has something to do with most of these hamsters failing their drug tests. The surreal spectacle of hamster javelin throwing and hamster figure skating has paved the way to the more modernized Maggotonian events. We're in the middle of round 4 of the shaved, greased hamster wrestling division, which, as far as I can tell, is closely mimicking at least one of Frugal's unspeakable secret fantasies.
Look at the way their tiny muscles bulge and twitch as they climb all over each other. It's almost hypnotic.
You are a freak. Currently, the clear winner is Patches, who has been dominating all of the combat-related events. However, some questions have been raised as to whether he should be disqualified. Not everyone is entirely convinced he's not actually a shaved dwarf.
I'm a goddamn hamster, and anybody who says otherwise is gonna get a crotch full of my boot.
Hamsters don't wear boots.
That's it. Kiss your rocks goodbye. Aye! For the love of Ironforge, it burns!
Hamsters don't have boots, and Frugal doesn't have rocks.
You spilled it all over!
And now it appears that the other so-called hamsters have taken advantage of the distraction and are swarming him like piranhas.
You see, Maggot? I told you this would be more fun than playing Soul Calibur.
I hate to admit it, but for the first time in your life, you were right about something.
Let's bask in this special moment, before I kick you in the rocks.
My codpiece has a point defense ion cannon, remember?
Oh yeah, I forgot, that's how Detective Banner lost his leg that first time. How much of Banner is still organic, anyway?
I think it's a third of his brain and one of his toes, or something like that.
That's what you get for being a policeman who's dumb enough to try to arrest Maggotonians.
Indeed. Well, it seems Patch's skeletonized remains have been carried off the field, paving the way for our next event, the Hamster Catapult. This event has a long, illustrious history here on Clagbrazingi. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the event, the Hamster Catapult involves the athlete placing him or herself inside a catapult, which is aimed directly at a brick wall. The survivor who can crawl the farthest after the impact is considered the winner.
It's especially fun because Maggotonian Olympic regulations allow athletes to wear a single helmet anywhere except their head.
And for some reason, even hamsters always seem to choose to cover their junk instead of their vital organs.
Well, hell, I would. Sure, your organs let you live, but your junk is your only reason to.
And here's our first athlete, Bubbles, representing a phallus. He's strapping himself into the catapult, and...
Wow, that's a nice visual. A tiny helmet filled with hamster junk and blood.
Well, bursting on impact is considered a foul, so now on to our next lucky contestant, Rocky, representing the Arcturan team. Oh, look at that. He bounced off mostly intact. A bit of his spine is hanging out, but he's starting to crawl. Let's see, 1 inch, 2 inches, a death rattle, 2.5 inches.
Next we have Buffalo from Australia. He's strapping himself in.
Oh, he's failed his second drug test and has been executed. Pity. I had such high hopes for the Australians after how well they did in the hamster swimming competition.
They all drowned, Maggot.
Yes, but the Australian one drowned the funniest. That's how you win.
Wait, what exactly does it take to fail a Maggotonian drug test?
In Olympic terms, you basically have to be a full conversion cyborg. Anything else that would be strong enough for us to care about would pretty much kill you all by itself.
You know, I wonder why people even watch those normal old boring Olympics.
Mostly because there are fewer Zerigians. Even in this universe, few things are more disturbing than a weightlifting competition involving men wearing dresses.
I was wondering why one of those hamsters was wearing a pink leotard during the gladiator fights.
Yes, so far the Zerigians are a lock for the gold medal in self-inflicted athlete casualties.
Wait, isn't that, like, the best one to get?
It certainly has the most sponsors.
Have I mentioned how much I love this planet?
We certainly do corner the market on interesting holidays and public events. And speaking of weightlifting, that's our next, and incidentally final, event. The reason this is always the final event is because it is held to traditional Olympic standards of weight, but given that the athletes are hamsters, pretty much the only way you can score them is how much thickness their body has retained after you drop the weight plates on them.
Actually, this is technically the second to the last event.
For the second time in his life, Frugal is right, though only halfway. This is the last event involving the actual hamsters, those few that are still alive. The last event is performed by the sponsors and the audience, and mostly involves exchanging gunfire with animal rights groups.
They just can't stand it when people have fun, can they?
Apparently not. First up for weightlifting is Titan, representing the Appalachian Steroid Abuse Education Council.
They film this and use it as one of those, this is your brain on drugs sort of things.
This year the weight has been set at 250 pounds. And down it goes!
Looks like Titan has scored 1.5 centimeters. Wow! Now that's gonna be hard to beat.
I never thought I'd see the day when the Appalachians were hard to beat at anything besides making stupid laws.
Next is Magellan of the Ass, representing Pornicon 7.
And splat. 0.85 centimeters.
Thoroughly average. I thought they'd do better.
Though I will point out that the hamster's breast implants are still supple and well-shaped despite the devastating impact.
At least they've got their priorities straight. And here comes... What the... They let in an entrant from Clyde Brazingi? Are they fucking stupid?
Apparently they found a loophole in the registration rules to get around the blanket ban on anything even remotely associated with the Maggottonians.
And, of course, this being the representative of Clyde Brazingi, the hamster has a fucking cannon on his back that's bigger than he is.
And down comes the weight... and up go the superheated remains of the weight. Ladies and gentlemen, measuring in at 10 centimeters and change, I introduce to you the new world record holder in hamster weightlifting. The hamster with a cannon on its back.
That name is fucking brilliant.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw this together 5 minutes before the competition, which is sad considering the prize is 10 million credits and endorsements worth another 20.
So, we're going to be seeing the cannon hamster on protein bars now.
That is very likely.
Ooh, here comes the good part. They're letting out the animal rights guys. You got your gun? Oh wait, that's right. You're not allowed to shoot it because it would end all life in this dimension and the three most adjacent to it.
Not so much that I'm not allowed as I'm being polite.
Whatever. Well, while you stay back here and overcompensate, I'm gonna go take the standard issue Uzi and get me some PETA.
You do that. Well, folks, that's it for the Maggott Show this week. Tune in next time, or the next Hamster Olympics will be held inside